What's up, y'all? We are here today to interview a very special guest. His name is Jordan Ali. Everybody, give it up.
Wow, really? I wasn't expecting all this. How y'all doing? I'm Jordan Ali.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Welcome to Media Mondays. My name is T Brown, and I'm here to expose you to amazing artists that you might have or might have not heard from. So, you just released a project. How do you feel?
It's a lot of weight off my shoulders. I feel like bodies of work really, they're big, heavy emotional catharsis. Like if you make them that way. That's how I made Pack Your Bags. It's all about packaging up trauma and moving it on. Because I feel like in this era of overly, almost like toxically positive people, a lot of times you're like, well, I'm healed, so I need a motherfucker that's healed, and they can't come to me with nothing. And it's like loving people, whether it's friends or family, like you're gonna have to deal with their baggage.
Yeah.
And knowing how to handle that. That's the love part. The love part is not being like, I love myself so much, I'll never deal with anything ever. That's not realistic.
Yeah.
You know, the monks, Buddhist monks, they always talk about like, a person is always like, I'm gonna open my third eye, my crown. But people who are too much in their head, in their top two chakras, they're just as imbalanced as someone they're only worried about their root chakra, which is I need to get money and I need to do this and fuck my dreams and I just need to focus on fucking and fighting and surviving and eating, which is important, but you gotta have both.
Oh my
you gotta
God.
have all seven.
I feel that because there was one point where like I was getting more into my chakras and getting into like my sacral and my root chakra. I started being more comfortable with dancing and stretching and just like movement. And I realized that it was blocked because I would go out, to parties and stuff, and I would be nervous. Like I wouldn't want to dance. And that's when I, started looking into it. And then also my throat chakra, because I didn't always want to speak up, like I used to be scared. I was scared to be seen. I was scared to be heard. And I was like, ooh, that was a big one to come to realization, because how do you know that until you know it? The thing that made me realize that I was too in my throat chakra is when there was a moment where I wasn't talking and then I was saying too much. I was like, it was too much. And it's like we were saying earlier, there's a difference between constructive and destructive criticism. Every thought don't need to be on the internet.
Absolutely.
Every thought don't need to be said. And it's okay, Journal. Everybody need to get a journal, okay? Everybody need to just get a journal. With Pack Your Bags, in the content, you featured some of your friends and also people you've collaborated with. How do you know when you can trust somebody with your baggage?
It's like incremental over time, because you decide how invested you are with other people, whether you know it or not. And some people like to act like, I ain't got no control, that's just my twin flame. I'm just like that. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people, that's just the way I am. And it's something bad.
Yeah.
And it's something you want to change.
It's the worst thing ever.
You're lying. And now you're coming up with like convenient excuses and trying to chalk it up to something that ultimately you're not in control of. You're in control of yourself. You're not in control of this fake circumstance you make up. But with friends, it comes time and conflict. Like if you can have conflict or disagreements with someone and then still bring it back to a place of love and respect, I think that's when you can be trusted in the friendship.
Yeah.
I grabbed people for this project who I love and I trust and I respect, and they show up for me.
Yeah. They're great people. I met you first, and then I met your whole friend group, and everybody reflects the same just good, positive energy.
Mad Music.
Shout out to Mad Music. What are the intentions you put behind your music?
Authenticity, freedom, and fantasy. Fantasy. One of my favorite compliments I always hear about Michael Jackson is that he made people believe in magic. And Donald Glover talked about that, I forget what year, it was probably the Emmys. And he just talked about the importance of preserving magic in the things that you do. And I know I can make magic, you know what I mean? And I want to give people that magic. I want someone to hear my song and then be like, fuck, I'm gonna go outside and like I'm gonna really try to find love.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like that. You don't even gotta listen to the song the whole time, or she or they. Like I just want to be the ignition point for that positive change in someone's life.
Yeah.
You know.
How do you keep yourself authentic when it comes to writing music?
That's a tough one. Frank Ocean talked about this, but niggas will write songs and delete the first draft because they want to go back and make something sound cooler.
Mm-hmm.
But Pharrell said this at a songwriters roundtable. You know, once you write your songs, once the song comes out of your mental and down on the pen and paper, it's not for you. It doesn't belong to you anymore. Like if anything, if you have the gift of song and the gift of music, you are a conduit and an envoy for whatever greater power or greater presence fuels your life. And for everybody, that's different. So sometimes I want to be like, let me not talk about that. Nah, I did get done dirty. I do look like naive in this situation, but like, just explain yourself in the record.
Yeah.
And it comes. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna be the nigga to be like, I wrote this beautiful verse about a kind, sweet lady. Mm-hmm. She broke my heart. Fuck it, no verse. It's gonna be like, the verse is here. She's just not in my phone.
Yeah.
Numbers blocked, but the song is, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna block the truth after the fact. I felt that way. It was real.
Yeah, that's like, it reminds me, I believe it was Nina Simone. I think that she said that artists are supposed to reflect the times. And I think that that's the most music that I tend to gravitate towards the most is music that I can relate to. I love when people tell their own stories. I love when people give me the bad, give me the good, because we're all going through the bad and the good. Like it's never all good, it's never all bad.
At all.
When it comes to Cardio, your song Cardio.
Cardio.
I love how you talked about the fantasy aspect, because for some reason in that it kind of gives me like Ringleader at one point, you know, like when you have the chorus come in and
so we only get finer. We only get finer. So we only get cuter. We only get cuter. Put the bullshit behind us. Put the bullshit behind us. I can fuck with no losers. I can fuck with no losers. Yeah.
When I had that chant in there, it is a thing of like, yeah, I want the ladies at the show to be like, we're only getting finer. And we're only getting cuter. And we're only getting, you know what I mean? I can't fuck with no losers. And I just,
I loved that part. Like it caught me off guard. I was like, wait, are these girls like singing this, like talking about they only get finer and cuter, and they ain't fucking no losers?
Yeah.
And this is a man's song?
And it's a guy's song. And I thought that was like really important because, yeah, I want to see all my homegirls and all the ladies I love in my life like shoot for high standards. You shouldn't be asking for flowers.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
absolutely not.
No shit like that.
Very bare minimum behavior.
Please don't ask for flowers. Don't ask for compliments. Like I have seen men approach women that, you know, I don't believe in leagues, but like shorty's got it together. And you don't. And you go over there because you want to see if you can bag it to help your ego. And then when you're with it, you feel insecure. And then now you're making her feel bad. Like he's not embodying himself and she is. Yeah. And they are behind closed doors feeding worms of deceit in their ears. And that should be breaking my heart because at this point, now you're a domestic terrorist because you're hurting the well-being and the good health of the people.
Yeah.
Because you're devoiding them of this art or the artist that could make this amazing, life-changing, world-changing art. And you're making them feel like shit.
Yeah.
Like I think about how many records, world-changing records or pieces we lost to them just laying with someone that didn't actually love or really want to celebrate them in their totality. I was watching this TikTok that led me down a rabbit hole of literature. Mm-hmm. And pretty much they talked about the modern man is due to patriarchy, which we all help reinforce in some way. We are commodified. We are seen for our utility. That's what it was, a tool. So in a world where these men are taught by our fathers or forefathers or social culture that we are tools to be used. How much money you got? Do you got a house? Do you got, you know what I mean? Like, do you have these things versus like when men go, we're simple creatures. That's the patriarchy. That's propaganda. You are a complex and emotionally rich being, spirit on this planet. And so in that way, I would say they, in becoming commodified and becoming a tool and a commodity, look to commodify other people. Oh, I'm gonna use you as an ego boost. That's a whole person right there. Depending on your beliefs, that's either a 3-dimensional or a 4-dimensional creature that you are now fucking with. You know what I mean? Especially on some spiritual shit. So I think that's what it is that in becoming that tool and in becoming used, you become the user, right? The abused become abusers sometimes.
What does healing look like for you? You speak a lot about you healing.
Before, it was having a good relationship with death. You find peace with death by finding love in life. Because when you realize it ends, then you're living life to the fullest, and then you can be satisfied with your end.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go tomorrow, knock on wood. But if I went tomorrow, I'd be like, wow, Jordan, between the ages of 20 and 23, you really brought it together and like loved yourself, and you were proud of yourself, and you stepped heavy and hard for yourself, and you advocated even when other people did not want to do that shit for you.
Yeah.
I just had a release party for Pack Your Bags. You were there.
Yes.
And ever since then, I've had family members and people in my life apologizing for doubting me, apologizing for making negative comments. But it's like so late in the game, you know what I mean? I've already built myself to a place where like I know I'm that nigga, and I know I'm ill, and I know I'm unshakable, and so that's what healing has been. It's been fortifying myself, finding peace with life and death, having grace for myself when I fuck up, and prioritizing the process over the product.
Yeah. Prioritizing the process over the product.
Yeah.
Because, and I feel that 1,000,000%, because at the end of the day, like, you have to enjoy what you're doing. The process could be a few days, a few hours, a few months, a few years.
A few years.
So
yeah,
you're doing all of this work, and you can either be enjoying it or putting yourself through hell. Once you get to that product, it's like, it's there, it's happened, and then what?
Right.
You just wasted all of that time putting yourself through hell when you could have been enjoying the process, enjoying making the content, enjoying making the music, enjoying whatever you're doing. That's me right now. Like, I'm just big in my joy bag. I'm just here to have a good time. Thank
Ever
you.
since I met you, glowing.
Thank you.
It's only gotten stronger.
Thank you. I just want to have a good time. I'm here to have fun. I'm not trying to stress myself out. I don't want to stress nobody else out. We all need to dance more and enjoy.
We all need to dance more. Come to Mad Music events. We like to dance. We're not gonna force you to dance. But we be dancing. We be dancing.
Y'all be dancing. Y'all honestly inspire me more to dance. Like, ever since the first Sip and Shoot, I've been even more comfortable with dancing. Cause like the Sip and Shoot, the first Sip and Shoot was crazy. Because I've never been in a space where I've seen so many women just like having so much fun. Like, women dancing with women. The guys were dancing. Like, it's like no one was paying attention.
Yeah, no one's being
anything.
super like, let me catch some ass to grab. Like, we don't institute that culture, because everybody within Mad Music is like, we're here to have a good time. We are a group of guys who don't believe we're just simple creatures.
Yeah.
And that opens up the space in the room for, women to feel safe. And that's one of my biggest prizes. I'm the eldest brother of 2 younger sisters.
Shout out to them.
I broke out Trent. And their comfortability is like super key. And I grew up a grandmama's boy. Like hard grandmama's boy. And so we're always trying to institute this place in this culture of like, feel comfortable to dance, or maybe don't, you know what I mean? And it's beautiful, because the shows were always, guys and girls, but now we have a lot more like queer folk, gender non-conforming, and like everyone's cool in the space.
I've met some of the greatest people at his shows that I've continued to be friends with and gone out with, and like, y'all need to come to a Mad Music event, because honestly, good energy.
And Mad Music, the CEO of Mad Music, Devon, he's the real
He takes
steward.
it very serious.
He takes it super serious. These are, Mad Music is his baby. He handles his shit. He bodies it.
You got the Sip and Shoot.
Yeah.
And you also have the Get Down, or is that Devon's
The
event?
Get Down is Devon.
Okay, so the Sip and Shoot is your event.
Yes, I came up with the Sip and Shoot. My visuals team, Nicholas Covert, and Ethan Quan, JPEG Ethan and Nick Covers on IG. If you follow me at Jordan Ali 410, that's JORDANALI 410, you'll see a lot of their photo work. They constantly tell me about people of every level of industry treating them like dog shit. And I love them dearly.
Yeah.
And I see so many photographers getting treated bad. When I planned the Sip and Shoot, it was an event for them. Because I've already felt seen through a lot of events.
Yeah.
You got something for people that sing? I like to sing. You got something for the rappers, the lyricists? That's easy for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have something for the folks that are really good at moving the people, that's cool. But like, I would constantly have them come out and then they would do amazing work that would live on and people would be like, yo, Jordan, your photo's crazy. But it's like, it was a team effort and they never got any appreciation. So I started the Sip and Shoot series dedicated to the two of them in particular, Ethan and Nick.
That's beautiful. Favorite song off the EP?
I think Charge It to the Game right now. Because I had Charge It to the Game for a long time and I believed in it as a record, but I almost used it as a footstool or a stopgap. And I fucked up with that during the Food for Soul rollout. I was like, oh, Food for Soul is a cool record. Like, all right, it resonates with people. I've tried it at the shows, yada, 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 whatever. Excuse me. And then I was like, but this is really just a setup for Charge It to the Game. Then Food for Soul takes off. I'm like, let me never do that again. But then I'm making Charge It to the Game and I'm like, this will just be the song that goes after Cardio. Like, Cardio's the real moment. And then as we speak, playlisting wise, Charge It to the Game is up. Like, that shit is moving. And it's that's why I think that's why it's my favorite. It's the underdog.
Sleeper,
It's the sleeper. You know what I mean? But even more importantly, it's not even a sleeper of like, this is, because Soul for Sweet would be the sleeper. It's some hard ass industrial, African polyrhythmic industrial, like claptrap, hard hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Pack Your Bags is like, but that's good for my fans and listeners, the people in my tribe that like the introspective. So Charge It to the Game was almost like that middle kid that like you don't even consider.
We ain't the same. You can get up on my leg, tryna stack my breast, they say I ain't tripping, I'ma charge it to the gang. Don't get stupid. Yeah, charge it to the gang. Out in the jungle, sniffing snakes and the dummies holding daggers. These days I feel like a total sage mixed with honey badger. Ain't never let a bitch a boy make the move stagger.
What was your favorite part about making the EP?
Oh, that's my favorite part. Having people come through. Because before I had too many people in the studio that did not help. And then I went super isolated. And even the people that I wanted weren't present. Yeah. And that's what led to me having co-production on Pack Your Bags, changing things within the production, changing things within the master and mix, just asking people to give me the materials, I'll build it myself. So when I was able to come back around and I felt strong enough in myself to be like, let's have these other energies in the room and they won't influence me. Yeah. They'll only enhance me. That was my favorite part. So like, there was the day where Big Raw, shout out Big Raw, we got a project coming, and Valo and a couple other people were present, and that was a beautiful day. And I was like, fuck, it's recorded, it's on the gram and all that. And then there was the day where we did the cardio day, where we asked, ladies and folks to come on out and, shout out Yebby, shout out Gabby for that. They body bag that shit. Shout out Lean because she has vocals on it. Shout out Yanet Yanu for dropping vocals. My producer Kyle Goodman for. So it's like those were my favorite times of like, yo, let's have fun.
Yeah.
Let's have like a lot of fun. Shout out Judah, Zaya, like everyone that contributed that shit.
And you can hear that on it too.
Yeah, I wanted everyone to like, in whatever form or capacity, because music is such a collaborative work. Some people rather be by themselves or they steal. I want to work. Like if I'm in the middle of a session, I let Judah direct me and give. Like he's really good for that, giving like an alternative perspective because it makes you better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no one's writing my raps. Let's keep it very clear.
Who's someone you've really been looking forward to collaborating with?
Someone I'm really looking forward to collaborate with. My grandfather.
Really?
Yeah, he's an old blues and jazz musician. I want to get him playing I want to get us singing together.
Aww.
You know, I really do, because him and my godfather are the backbone to this. My godfather is who introduced me to Jay-Z.
Wow.
So my family was only gospel and R&B. I wasn't allowed to do hip hop. I gotten suspended from my church pre-K for singing Bootylicious by Beyonce and Get Your Freak On by Missy. I was rapping my ass
In
off.
pre-K.
That's
in
why I got
church.
sent to public school.
Wow.
I got kicked out. I got suspended too much, and I was like, "Dog, get me the fuck out of here." You know what I mean? I really want to work with Foggy Raw.
He's hard. Shout out to Foggy Raw.
Shout out Foggy Raw.
He's killing it.
He's bodying that shit, and I think it's just so dope, so unique, and I think that style of, like, if the DMV was gonna take anybody's style and make it a thing, I think it should be that. It's so artful and poetic. Like, it feels like the jazz club scene from the Goofy movie, but not sarcastic. You know what I mean? And the flow is like, it gives me feelings of like what's happening with the slum sound, as they call it, like Mavi and Mike and Earl Sweatshirt and Redville to an extent. Like, and so in that way, like, that would be who I'd want to rap with, because I think he would help push me to go to like weirder, different places with my flow.
On the EP that you said this is for my mom, why that song?
I think just seeing my mom is a principal now, and I saw her struggle for so many years trying to become a principal and work her way up. But also sort of kind of to prove to her, like, I'm doing this art shit and I got it. Like, my mom was in the building for the Pack Your Bags release party, 80 Soul Strong, beautiful thing, so happy. But I think that was there, like, she really saw it. Because when I got back from Atlanta, we did a Mad Music trip to Atlanta. I looked at my dad one morning and I was like, one day you're gonna realize I'm great. And it's not gonna be because you realize it, it's gonna be because people tell you.
That's sad, but I feel that.
And that's life, because
Yeah.
my family, my parents in particular, they don't know shit about hip hop. They don't have favorite rappers. They don't have favorite albums. They're not a nerd about it. They're not even like kind of sort of casual. You know what I mean?
It's not their thing.
They don't go to rap shows.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever been to a rap show. It just, if it came on in the function, it was what it was. So I told my dad after I told him that, I said, look, Pops, one day I'm gonna tell you I can fly. And the next day, don't be surprised if you see wings growing on my back. And then we got right to the party. Like, I came back charged up and I told him that, you know, and he was like,
Okay.
it's like either you're stupid as shit or you got crazy balls. I just heard the crazy balls, boy. I know when and where I'm stupid.
How do you feel like you've grown musically as an artist?
I'm better at learning. My micro timing, that's something I get a lot of compliments
What is that?
about. So micro timing is like, let's say you're on beat, right? But you gotta think about the swings of it. It's the difference between someone producing a record on a grid of like, all right, we have sets of 4 versus like, oh, let me just sample and hit the drums humanly and feel it out. Which is why I sound so good with live instruments.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, it's the voices, like, it's the micro timing. I know when and where to speak and where to add more presence in my voice. And that's just a natural thing from my grandfather being a blues and jazz musician.
Yeah.
That genre is all about improvisation and micro timing.
Yeah.
And that micro timing has grown, and my ability to decode and learn and understand song structures helped. Because once you learn the rules, this for all my young artists, it's cool to be the nigga that just does it naturally and be naturally gifted. But like, I know for me, I'm very inspired by like Rock Lee from Naruto.
Yeah.
And I always told
You
myself,
have the green pants on.
you know what I mean? I remember I told myself, even as a kid, like, even if you're talented, you should work like you're garbage.
Yeah.
You should work at shit like you are so below the level of natural talent
Yeah.
that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because then if you got talent, you'll go far. I knew from a young age, like, my natural aptitude for rapping was not enough. I had someone recently, it was jokingly, but they were like, oh, you always win. No, I don't always
I actually
win.
don't.
I actually take more losses. I'm just good at pivoting.
So they said you always win.
And like, yeah, you always win, you always win. And like,
That's such a weird
funny.
thing to say.
But I was like, no, nigga, I always pivot.
And I always learn.
I always learn.
I learn and I pivot.
No plan is perfect, but my pivot is.
Yeah. Ooh.
I have that written
No
down.
plan is perfect, but my pivot is.
Because I'm going to pivot out some shit.
Every time.
You know, all the time.
I'm constantly evolving. Like, I'm not the same person I was last week, last month, last year, yesterday.
Yeah. I started writing in my notes, naming the chapters of my lives and dating them. The chapters, so between December 1st, 2022 and June 17th, 2023, I titled that And We Did It All, for Love.
Ooh.
And then, because that was really when I felt, I mean, I'm still always falling in love with family and friends, but like with mad music, like that was the, you know, those first 3 months where it's fresh and it's like, like that was, I'm still falling in love with my brotherhood every day.
Yeah.
In new ways, over and over again. But that was like hallmark. This era, which started June 18th, is called And He Just Kept Motherfucking Swinging. And
Shout
that title,
out 12 rounds.
Shout out 12 rounds. That shit is inspired by my twin 12 rounds. 12 shit. And like, yeah, because things kept happening and I just kept getting up and being like, you know, like he always says, life is hard, so what, keep swinging. I would fall on my pockets. That's what happens when you play the boss and you do business. And I just kept swinging. Shit was not coming through. I just kept swinging. Shit good was happening. I did not ease up. I just, at any and everything, every target, every opportunity, I swung for the fences. That's why I shout out Early Rising, shout out Pitches and Planes, Daily Chiefers for the way they've been showing love to pack your bags. It's because I'm going to keep fucking swinging.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop.
Yeah.
I've had people recently asking me like, yo, how do you get so many shows? Niggas literally be in my DMs, but I be calm with it. But they're over there giving me like the third degree, like how you get on a project, how do you close out an album that's got YB Escola, you know what I mean, Jiggy, TMC The Dawn, YG Tech, like these big Baltimore heavy hitters. They're like, how'd you get it? I'm like, nigga, go outside, be a human.
Yeah.
Pay your dues.
Yeah.
Pay your fucking dues. All right.
Yeah.
Unless you are really that lethal with the art, it's not just gonna click like that.
No.
And even the people where it is lethal, they're not moving from a mindset of I'm so good, I don't have to do no groundwork, no legwork. I had 80 people at my release party. I always had people come to my shows. I will still go out to these open mics. We was talking about this earlier for the cameras anymore. I will go to that open mic and work these records like only 6 motherfuckers know them. And I know it's way more than that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the key right there.
It's showing up in person and online, but
Yeah.
especially in person. There's so many events every day. There's a different open mic, show, whatever it is. Like, show support. I've been telling people this for a while. It's like, you gotta show up in person. I feel like the in-person connections I make hit so much harder than just like random follows on social media.
You gotta have the courage, like Reg talks about, to be this like, you're not gonna click for everybody.
You're not. You can't move in fear. I know I've talked about this a gajillion times, but you have to be okay with not being liked by everybody. Like, I only want to be aligned with the people that are aligned.
Celebrated, not tolerated.
Celebrated, not tolerated.
I've been putting that everywhere now.
For your song 777, you wrote it about your aunt.
Yeah.
How do you process grief?
I used to process it really bad.
How so?
Really bad. I couldn't, it's because my first major death, they did not let me see my grandmother as the cancer took her. Because one thing I've noticed with sick people is like, sick people who still love you when you're present, they come back to life, right? So I think sometimes, depending on the person, you should let that person see them. I've seen some very sick people see more lively than motherfuckers that have the house, the dogs, the cars, the kids, right? And I think it's an important part of closure.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a lot of closure with the deaths. Whether circumstantial or like my family being like, no, you can't. Like some people just died, they went to the hospital at 12, died at 2. You know what I mean? And you don't get that.
Yeah.
You're learning it all at once. So yeah, for me, handling grief has been tough, but during the pandemic, the Midnight Gospel came out. Y'all gotta watch the Midnight Gospel. The host, it's a podcast that they ended up putting like cartoons to make it easier to watch, and it's Pendleton Ward, the guy from Adventure Time. And the last episode is his mom dying from terminal cancer. And she says this thing where it's that as much as I love you, I won't be gone once I'm gone. If anything, I'll be stronger because I won't be anchored by the physical. And that's kind of been how I've coped better with grief, is that this right here, it's a tool. It's meant for you to experience life, learn your lessons, move on, and cultivate your solar body, you know what I mean? And then that way you're endless, you're limitless, you're like the air, you're everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Like the air, you everywhere.
You're everywhere. And that's how I've been coping, because I think about all the times I've thought lovingly of a friend and they text me and be like, you came to mind. So if I'm doing that, me, every bit of 24 in this body, I can only imagine what, you know, Uncle Johnny and Aunt Beatty and Aunt Bessie and Grandma Myrtle, like, what they're feeling for me.
What is the best musical advice you've ever got?
Best musical advice I ever got. Listen to more music. Listen to more music. Because this is something I've noticed and encountered a lot, especially at artists at this level. They go like, I don't listen to nobody else. You're not gonna go far.
Yeah.
You're not gonna go far. Even when you have your own sound, listen to other shit. My whole thing is, if your sound is so contingent on self-isolation, it's probably either A, not that good of a sound, or B, you're not as solidified in yourself as you thought. That's almost fact, really. Because in the grand scheme of things, you need to learn, you need to understand reference points like Tyler always talks about. If you are rapping on some Southern shit and you've never heard some fucking 3 6 Mafia,
go get on your Zoom.
Get on your Zoom, dog. Like,
you need to get on your Zoom.
If you love boom bap and you've never listened to Wu-Tang, get on your Zoom, nigga. Like, what? And I get it.
It goes back to the learning thing, honestly, that we've been talking about. We have to learn. We have to do our Googles.
But if Michael Jackson during Thriller and Off the Wall is saying, I listen to other people, I study the greats all the time.
As a great.
Who the fuck are you? If Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, those type people are always learning, always listening. Now, all right, if you want to take 3 months to finish your album and refine your sound, cool. It be niggas doing this for years on years, and I can hear. They end up doing what other people did, other people who didn't listen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, now you niggas 2 peas in a pod.
Yeah.
But the legends are always working, they're always learning. That and rap like yourself. Yeah. When you start rapping, you're subconsciously trying to sound dope like people you fuck with. Just sound like you. So really it's those 2 things together. Because when you listen more, you'll know where you fit into the bigger picture. Yeah. You'll know what makes you unique. Yeah. If you're just like, I'm just unique just cause, and you never heard shit, all right, well, now you sound like a diet Mick Jenkins. Yeah. So much for that uniqueness. Now you sound like a shitty Smino. Ooh. There goes that uniqueness. It's out the fucking window. Yeah. Because you was arrogant.
Yeah. What is something you want to leave the people with?
Pack love, pack light, and keep God close.
Very close.
Keep God close.
Go to God for everything.
Shout out the tribe. Shout out everyone that has contributed, everyone that has made things happen. But the most important thing I want to say, there is love in the DMV.
There's talent.
There's talent. There is love. I will continue to say it. If you have never felt love in the DMV or in Baltimore, that's more of an indictment of you. I know some very talented people that are very loved and well cherished by their zone. I'm proud of Mad Music. The Before It's Too Late party, we had so many artists come in to celebrate that winter with us. And they were like, oh yeah, I used to roll with so-and-so crew, so-and-so collective, so-and-so productions. But I came over here because the 1 or 2 times I popped in away from them, y'all showed me so much love. And we had joked after the party, it was like, damn, Mad Music is a halfway house for dope niggas that don't want to be cliquey and don't want to do the politics. And that's why Mad Music is one of my biggest prides right now in life. Yeah. And probably in my entire life. I'll always look back on this shit fondly.
And this is Media Mondays. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for helping me hallmark such a beautiful time in my life. I'm Jordan Ali.
That's a wrap.
Man, music.
Like all my homegirls, bad bitches, and all my niggas fly. Truth be told, God been so good to me, I might cry. I used to try and now triathlons come to mind. When I think about a challenge, I could probably whiz by. Whiz kid who used to do bad shit, from skipping them classes to running with Rugrats after school, making my mind go tragic with that magic.